On a warm August evening in 2018, in a quiet suburb of Philadelphia, the life of Christina Carlin-Kraft was abruptly cut short under mysterious and brutal circumstances. A young and successful model who graced the pages of glossy magazines found herself at the center of one of the most shocking crimes that rocked the local community. What led her to a fateful encounter with the individual who took her life? This question is the key to a story filled with enigmas, despair, and the quest for justice. Christina Carlin-Kraft was born in South Jersey, USA. From a young age, she exhibited a keen interest in the modeling industry and the entertainment sphere. With her green eyes, chestnut hair, and olive-toned skin, Christina had Russian, German, and Swedish roots. This unique appearance drew attention, and soon she began to take her first steps in her modeling career. In the early 2010s, Christina actively collaborated with various modeling agencies, striving to establish herself in the industry. Her determination and natural charisma allowed her to participate in photo shoots for renowned brands and magazines. However, the path to success was not easy, and Christina faced numerous challenges typical of the competitive world of fashion. Despite the difficulties, Christina continued to work diligently, honing her skills and expanding her portfolio. Her professionalism and dedication gradually bore fruit, opening new opportunities in the modeling realm. Thus, the early years and the beginning of Christina Carlin-Kraft's career were characterized by a pursuit of self-realization in the modeling industry, overcoming obstacles, and a gradual ascent to success. Christina Carlin-Kraft gradually established herself in the modeling industry, earning a reputation as a hardworking and charismatic model. Her career began to flourish after participating in several major projects that became turning points. One of her significant achievements was collaborating with well-known magazines such as Vanity Fair, Maxim, and Playboy. For each publication, Christina showcased her versatility, effortlessly embodying various personas. With her striking appearance and natural charm, she became popular among professional photographers. Working in the modeling industry opened doors for Christina into the world of glamour. She faced an intense schedule, shooting on different continents and attending numerous public events. It was a challenging path where competition reached its peak, but Christina proved capable of withstanding the pressure. Christina placed particular emphasis on professionalism and maintaining connections. She understood the importance of finding common ground with clients and agents. This helped her secure consistent offers, expand her network, and confidently move forward. One of the traits that distinguished Christina from other models was her commitment to self-improvement. She constantly worked on herself, refining her poses, posture, and emotional expressiveness. Many colleagues and acquaintances noted her willingness to experiment and her eagerness to learn new things. However, Christina's ambition for success extended beyond mere photo shoots. She also had a keen interest in design and art. She enjoyed exploring how unique looks were created for the runway and magazines, as well as participating in the process of crafting photo sessions. The peak of Christina's career coincided with a surge in attention to social media. She utilized Instagram as a platform to showcase her work, regularly posting snapshots from shoots and sharing her thoughts on fashion and beauty. This allowed her to attract a broad audience and solidify her presence in the industry. Despite the external glamour and success, the life of a model was filled not only with triumphs but also challenges. Christina constantly juggled a demanding schedule, personal life, and the need to find time for rest. Her perseverance and determination helped her overcome difficulties, but it often required immense effort. Christina Carlin-Kraft became not just a model but a symbol of ambition and professionalism, inspiring many young women aspiring to achieve success in the fashion world. This phase of her life represented a time of realizing long-held dreams and a significant step toward recognition. Beyond the bright lights of photo shoots and runway shows, Christina Carlin-Kraft led a rich personal life that remained a mystery to many. Despite the public nature of her profession, she endeavored to keep her personal relationships away from the cameras, leaving space for privacy. Christina grew up in a family that always supported her aspirations for success. Her parents played a crucial role in her life, often serving as a source of moral support and inspiration. Their advice and example helped her maintain resilience in the face of challenges that arose along her path. In her interactions with friends, Kristina revealed herself to be a kind and attentive person. She valued close relationships, made an effort to assist those dear to her, and always found time to meet with loved ones. This contrasted with the model image that many associated with coldness and selfishness. Kristina, on the contrary, was renowned for her warmth and friendliness. Kristina's personal life was not without its complexities. Like many public figures, she was surrounded by admirers and acquaintances who were not always sincere. Some found it difficult to accept her success, which at times led to envy and tension. However, Kristina strived to maintain a positive outlook, focusing on those who genuinely cared for her. During the peak of her professional career, Kristina engaged in romantic relationships that, according to those close to her, held significant meaning. However, maintaining a balance between her career and personal life proved to be a formidable challenge. A demanding shooting schedule, travel, and client meetings often hindered her ability to cultivate stable relationships. A key aspect of her life was her pursuit of harmony. Kristina frequently sought ways to alleviate stress through sports and meditation. She had a passion for travel, drawing inspiration from diverse cultures and new locales. This quest for inner balance enabled her to maintain clarity of mind and stay focused on her goals. Among Kristina's friends were not only colleagues from the modeling industry but also individuals from the realms of art, music, and design. These connections opened new horizons for her and allowed for the exchange of ideas with like-minded individuals. She believed that genuine relationships are built on mutual respect and understanding, regardless of social status or professional differences. Kristina Karlin Kraft's personal life was filled with a desire for happiness and harmony. Surrounded by many people, she had the ability to find those who were truly close to her. This capacity to value authentic relationships made her not only a successful model but also an inspiring individual. The summer of 2018 marked a turning point in Kristina Karlin Kraft's life. Despite her flourishing career and a life seemingly filled with vibrant events, numerous occurrences during this period foreshadowed tragedy. Kristina rented an apartment in a condominium in Ardmore, a suburb of Philadelphia. This area was renowned for its safety and respectability, making it appealing to successful professionals. The apartment served as not only a place of rest for Kristina but also a sanctuary where she could be alone and recharge. In the week leading up to the tragic events, Kristina was active. Neighbors reported that she appeared cheerful, greeting those around her and showing no signs of distress. However, on August 18, an incident disrupted her tranquility. She reported to the police the theft of personal belongings from her apartment, including a designer handbag and jewelry valued at several $1,000s. This event unsettled Kristina, yet she hoped the police would swiftly apprehend the culprits. Subsequently, she changed the locks on her apartment in an effort to secure herself. Nevertheless, a sense of unease lingered. In the days that followed, she confided in friends about her concerns, mentioning strange phone calls and a feeling of being watched. On August 23, Kristina met Jonathan Harris, a man who would later be implicated in her demise. They encountered each other in a bar in Philadelphia. Surveillance footage captured the couple spending several hours together before heading to Kristina's apartment. These recordings later became a crucial element in the investigation. Neighbors claimed to have heard noise coming from Kristina's apartment on the night of August 22, 23, but no one paid it much attention. The noise was not overly loud, and the cries did not sound like pleas for help. However, it was during these hours that events unfolded that would forever alter the lives of Kristina's family and loved ones. In the early morning of August 24, 2018, police officers arrived at the condominium in Ardmore following a call from a concerned relative of Kristina Karlin Kraft. The relative had been unable to reach her, which was highly unusual for Kristina, who was always in touch. Upon entering her apartment, the police discovered the body of a woman. Kristina lay on the bed, strangled with a cord. There were no signs of forced entry or robbery, raising numerous questions immediately. Forensic experts began examining the crime scene. Signs of a struggle caught their attention: overturned furniture, torn bed linens, and damaged decorative items in the bedroom. These details indicated that Kristina had fought back against her assailant until the very end. Despite the absence of visible signs of forced entry, experts speculated that the killer may have been familiar with Kristina and allowed into the apartment willingly. The police scrutinized surveillance footage from the building and the street. The recordings showed Kristina returning home accompanied by a man on the evening of August 23rd. The cameras captured them entering the building together, after which Kristina led her guest to her apartment. The preliminary forensic examination determined that the cause of death was asphyxiation due to strangulation with a cord. No signs of sexual violence were found, however, there was evidence of a physical struggle, indicating a deliberate and brutal nature of the crime. Experts also collected DNA samples from the crime scene, hoping they would aid in identifying the suspect. One of the initial theories proposed by the police was an attempted robbery. Despite the absence of clear signs of theft, a previous history of items disappearing from the apartment prompted investigators to consider this hypothesis. Nevertheless, the lack of forced entry and the presence of valuable items left behind weakened this theory. Simultaneously, investigators began interviewing neighbors and acquaintances of Kristina. Many claimed she had not mentioned any conflicts or threats against her, although she had appeared noticeably tense in the days leading up to the incident. Several neighbors reported hearing strange noises on the night of the murder, but these accounts did not provide a clear understanding of the timeline of events. A pivotal moment in the investigation was the analysis of surveillance camera footage. The identity of the man who entered the apartment with Kristina was established through his tattoos and clothing. He was identified as Jonathan Harris, previously convicted of theft and robbery. This revelation marked a significant breakthrough in the case, providing investigators with a direction for further inquiry. The discovery of Kristina Karlin Kraft's body and the subsequent developments shocked not only her loved ones but also the public. The model circle was taken aback that such a tragedy could occur in a relatively safe neighborhood, regarded as one of the best places to live. The police prioritized Kristina's murder, promising to find the perpetrator as swiftly as possible and to uncover all circumstances surrounding the incident. Ahead of them lay a complex and multifaceted process of seeking the truth. Following the discovery of Kristina Karlin Kraft's body, the Montgomery County Police launched an extensive investigation. Detectives understood that time was against them, and every missed detail could hinder the capture of the murderer. An operational headquarters was immediately established to coordinate the efforts of the investigative team. The first step involved processing the crime scene. Forensic experts documented all possible evidence, including fingerprints, fabric fibers, and biological materials. Particular attention was drawn to the DNA samples found on the cord used to strangle Kristina. These samples became crucial in identifying the suspect. Investigators also meticulously examined the apartment. Given that the locks on the door had been recently replaced, the investigation ruled out the possibility of a break-in. This supported the hypothesis that Kristina had willingly let the murderer in. Surveillance footage emerged as one of the primary sources of information. Detectives reviewed dozens of hours of video to establish the exact time Kristina returned home and to identify the man accompanying her. The footage clearly captured the suspect's face and tattoos. Later, this information was used to create wanted posters. Additionally, recordings from nearby cameras were analyzed to determine the suspect's movements before and after the crime. This enabled the police to track his whereabouts and identify potential hiding places. Interviews with neighbors confirmed that on the evening of August 23rd, Kristina returned home accompanied by a man. Some residents heard noises and screams but did not consider them alarming enough to call the police. These testimonies helped reconstruct the overall picture of events. Friends and family of Kristina were also questioned. none of them recognized the man with whom she spent her final hours. This indicated that their acquaintance had occurred shortly before the tragedy. A key moment came with the use of the DNA database. The materials collected from the crime scene matched the profile of Jonathan Harris, who had a prior record of several offenses, including robbery and violence. His name was already in police archives, allowing for the swift identification of the suspect. Detectives also discovered that Harris had been released from prison just weeks before Kristina's murder. This added another layer to the suspect's profile. He was a person with a criminal past, prone to violent behavior. After identifying Jonathan Harris, the police initiated a large-scale manhunt. His photograph and description were disseminated to police stations across the state and published in the media. Officers checked potential hideouts, interviewed acquaintances, and tracked his movements. A few days later, on August 28, 2018, Harris was apprehended in Allentown County. He attempted to evade capture but was recognized due to the wanted poster circulated by the police. Upon his arrest, a phone was seized, containing crucial evidence, including messages confirming his connection with Kristina on the day of her murder. Jonathan Harris did not immediately confess to his guilt. In the initial interrogations, he claimed that he and Kristina had met by chance and that the murder occurred accidentally during an argument. However, the evidence collected by the police indicated a premeditated nature of the crime. Interrogations and the collection of evidence became the foundation for formulating the charges. The police completed the initial phase of the investigation, but a complex process of proving the suspect's guilt in court lay ahead. Following the arrest of Jonathan Harris on August 28, 2018, the Allentown police transferred him to the investigative team from Montgomery County. Harris, previously convicted of a series of violent crimes, emerged as a key figure in the murder case of Christina Karlin Kraft. His arrest marked a significant breakthrough in the investigation, yet the detectives faced the challenge of establishing his involvement. Upon his arrest, Harris exhibited signs of nervousness but attempted to maintain his composure. He denied his guilt, claiming that a conflict had occurred between him and Kristina, which allegedly ended in a tragic accident. However, the police already possessed evidence that cast doubt on this narrative. Items found in Harris' possession, including a phone with messages and surveillance footage, played a crucial role. These pieces of evidence linked him to the crime scene and the final hours of Kristina's life. During the first interrogation, Harris admitted to meeting Kristina at a bar in Philadelphia on the evening of August 23. He asserted that she invited him to her home to continue the evening. According to Harris, a quarrel ensued, fueled by alcohol-induced disagreements. He described the situation as a sudden outburst, which supposedly led to the tragedy. However, investigators noted numerous inconsistencies in his statements. Harris could not explain why signs of a struggle were found at the crime scene, and the act of strangulation with a cord clearly indicated intentionality. Moreover, his account of the time spent in the apartment did not align with the surveillance footage. The investigation relied on the gathered evidence. DNA analysis found on the cord and in other areas of the apartment matched Harris' samples with absolute certainty. This effectively undermined his attempts to deny involvement. Additionally, messages found on his phone suggested aggressive intentions. The police presented Harris with photographs from surveillance cameras. The images showed him exiting Kristina's home on the morning of August 24, while the model's body lay in the bedroom. These recordings ultimately dismantled his defense. Under the weight of the evidence, Harris altered his testimony. During one interrogation, he confessed to strangling Kristina but continued to insist that it was done in a fit of rage. Nevertheless, the investigation classified Harris' actions as premeditated murder, considering the circumstances and nature of the attack. Shortly after his confession, the Montgomery County District Attorney's Office charged Jonathan Harris with first-degree murder. He was also charged with aggravated assault and unlawful entry. Harris' arrest marked a significant step toward achieving justice, yet his contradictory statements rendered the upcoming trial a challenging endeavor. The public closely followed the developments, while Kristina's family hoped for justice. The trial of Jonathan Harris commenced in late 2018 and became a pivotal moment in the case of Christina Karlin Kraft. The proceedings garnered immense public and media interest, as the case not only shocked with its brutality but also raised numerous questions about safety and justice. The prosecution, presented by the Montgomery County attorneys, was based on irrefutable evidence. This included surveillance footage, witness testimonies, DNA analysis, and forensic examination results. The prosecutors aimed to demonstrate that Kristina's murder was premeditated and cold-blooded. In contrast, the defense built its strategy on the assertion that Kristina's death was a tragic accident. Harris' attorneys argued that a quarrel between him and Kristina inadvertently led to her demise. They emphasized the absence of signs of sexual violence and the potential intoxication of both parties. During the initial hearings, the prosecution presented key evidence. The attorneys highlighted video recordings showing Harris in close proximity to Kristina during her final hours. These images, along with DNA traces at the crime scene, unequivocally linked Harris to the murder. The court also heard the results of the medical examination. Experts confirmed that the strangulation with a cord was executed with significant force, ruling out the possibility of an accident. The prosecutors contended that Harris' actions were intentional, as he could have ceased his actions but chose to continue strangling the victim. Throughout the trial, several witnesses testified. Kristina's neighbors recounted the noise emanating from her apartment on the night of the murder. Although many did not witness the events themselves, their testimonies helped corroborate that a struggle occurred within the apartment. Kristina's friends also provided testimonies, describing her as a person who avoided conflict and violence. They mentioned her concerns for her safety following a prior theft incident, which heightened the drama of the situation. The defense of Harris sought to portray him as an individual caught in an emotionally charged situation. The attorneys contended that Harris lacked a premeditated motive, asserting that the events unfolded due to an escalation of conflict. Harris personally took the stand, declaring that he had no intention of harming Kristine. However, his testimony was met with skepticism by the prosecution, as it contradicted the factual evidence. Prosecutors emphasized that his actions following the murder, concealing evidence and attempting to flee, indicated his awareness of guilt. The trial spanned several weeks, with the final statements from both sides underscoring opposing narratives of the incident. The prosecution insisted on the premeditated nature of the crime, while the defense endeavored to mitigate Harris' culpability by appealing to his emotional state. The public closely monitored the proceedings, expressing support for Kristina's family. They hoped that justice would prevail and that the perpetrator would face appropriate consequences. In November 2018, after several weeks of deliberation, the court began to render its verdict. The tension in the courtroom reached a peak. Both sides understood that the final decision would culminate all efforts expended throughout the trial. For Kristina's family, it was a moment of hope for justice. For Jonathan Harris, it was a last chance to evade the maximum penalty. The jury, composed of 12 members, deliberated for over 2 days. In their hands rested Harris' fate and the hopes of Kristina's loved ones for justice. They examined a multitude of evidence, including surveillance footage, forensic results, witness testimonies, and DNA evidence. Ultimately, the jury delivered their verdict. Jonathan Harris was found guilty of first-degree murder. This verdict indicated that the court deemed Harris' actions intentional, carried out with full awareness of their consequences. The announcement of the verdict provoked a torrent of emotions in the courtroom. Kristina's relatives erupted in tears, embracing one another. They expressed gratitude to the prosecutors, police, and all those who worked on the case for restoring justice. Harris, in contrast, maintained an outward calm, although his attorneys attempted to assert the possibility of an appeal. For them, it was a defeat, but the outcome of the case was virtually predetermined by the abundance of evidence and the severity of the charges. A few days after the verdict, a hearing was held in which the judge delivered the sentence. Harris was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. The judge noted that the brutality of the crime, its intentional nature, and the defendant's lack of remorse rendered a more lenient sentence impossible. In his statement, the judge extended condolences to Kristina's family, emphasizing that her life was cut short by a ruthless act of violence. He also remarked that this case serves as a reminder of the necessity to combat recidivism and enhance monitoring of such individuals. Following the sentencing, Kristina Karlin Kraft's case sparked widespread public discourse. Many discussed safety issues, particularly concerning women living alone. Calls for enhanced protective measures and improved surveillance systems in residential complexes emerged. Kristina's family expressed satisfaction with the sentence but noted that no punishment could restore her life. They urged the public to remember Kristina as a vibrant, kind, and talented woman whose life ended too soon. After the conclusion of the trial, Kristina Karlin Kraft's name continued to resonate not only in connection with her tragic demise but also as a symbol of hope and a reminder of the importance of safeguarding women's rights. Her death left a profound impact on the hearts of her loved ones, friends, and the entire modeling industry. Overcoming the pain of loss, Kristina's family decided to immortalize her memory. They established a charitable foundation in her honor, aimed at supporting women facing violence and threats. This foundation organized lectures, self-defense training, and awareness campaigns addressing safety issues. Kristina's relatives also participated in initiatives aimed at improving legislative frameworks. They advocated for stricter monitoring of repeat offenders and enhanced preventive measures against violent crimes. The modeling community also took action. Kristina's colleagues and friends organized charity fashion shows in her memory. The funds raised during these events were directed toward supporting educational programs for young women aspiring to careers in the fashion industry. Her story inspired many designers and photographers who used their creativity to express support and respect for her life. A well-known magazine featured a photo shoot dedicated to Kristina, showcasing her colleagues working on projects she once dreamed of realizing. Some time after her passing, a documentary aired on television, focusing on Kristina's life and career. The film highlighted not only her achievements but also the personal struggles she faced while navigating the challenges of the industry and life in a big city. This project served as an opportunity to remind people of the importance of maintaining humanity and caring for others, even in a world filled with competition and pressure. Every year, on her birthday, Kristina's friends and family gathered to celebrate her vibrant life. These gatherings have become not only a way to honor her memory but also a reminder of the importance of cherishing every moment and protecting those in need. The story of Kristina Karlin Kraft is not merely a tragedy but a lesson for society about the fragility of human life and the necessity of remaining vigilant. Her memory lives on in the hearts of those who knew her and in the actions inspired by her life.